Wings to Fly is a children's book about gaining confidence and working to succeed, told from the perspective of a young girl who loves to play basketball. She is often left out by her teammates until she meets her guardian angel who teaches her that success takes perseverance. Wings to Fly is a great read for all children. I would highly recommend this book. If you would like to make a purchase, please click on the link in my description box below.
Will come together to tackle one of the city's biggest problems, crime, more specifically, black on black crime.
Black on black crime.
Black on black crime.
Black on black crime.
Black on black crime. You can find it in almost any major city like Chicago, New York, or LA. But Chattanooga is nowhere near the size, nor has the population of those cities. Yet violent crimes by African Americans against each other in Chattanooga, it's just as bad. In part one of his special report, Eric Avenier takes a deep look into black on black crime and its effect on the African American community. He joins us live in the studio to explain. Eric.
Crime is crime. What is white on white crime? What is Asian on Asian crime? What is Hispanic on Hispanic crime? So none of these other groups of people is associated with crime. See, I want you to see the problem in this. With anybody else, it's just crime. But with us, it's black on black crime. We are automatically connected to crime. The first American street gang was called the Dead Rabbits. This was an Irish gang located in Lower Manhattan, New York. Now, this was in the mid-1800s. And back then, they were robbing people and committing murders. If we are somehow morally deficient and somehow born these criminals, then how come all of the early gangs were white folks, or what we consider white folks? As I said, in areas of poverty, the crime rate will rise and gangs will rise. A report released by the U.S. Department of Justice found that violent crimes committed over the last few years were by black people, and 63% of those were committed against other black people. This is in comparison to 44% of all violent crimes committed by white people, and 57% of those were committed against other white people. According to this data, white people commit crimes against other white people at about the same rate. But despite these numbers, we aren't talking about white on white crime. According to a separate 2014 Justice Department report, people living in households below the poverty level had more than doubled the rate of violent crimes. Poor black people and poor white people committed crimes at similar rates, 46.4 for white people and 43.4 for black people, which is a clear connection to poverty.
Black on black crime is not a thing. Intra-community crime is, and only one community's crimes are held out as a moral failing. The reality is, where there's poverty, where there's hopelessness, there's crime. It's been that way throughout the history of man. We know this, yet as a society, we offer nothing but condemnation and judgment as a way out. Ask yourself why.
Outside of areas of poverty, you don't see that. So if we were somehow born violent, born killers, born morally deficient, how come in other areas, black folks ain't slaughtering each other? there's very upscale areas that's predominantly black where black people aren't killing each other. David Wilson, a geography professor at the University of Illinois, says that the term black-on-black crime really took off in the early 1980s. As he explains in his book from 2005, Inventing Black-on-Black Violence. The Chicago Tribune ran a multi-part news report that framed urban violence squarely as a problem born of black youth. Just us. And black-on-black crime became an effective vehicle for the rise of Reaganism.
By the way, you know who overwhelmingly commits crimes against white people? White people, at almost identical rates, because crimes are carried out due to proximity. But we don't say white on white crime, do we? Blacks rob blacks, Latinos rob Latinos, Asians rob Asians, whites rob whites, and on and on and on. But we only hear about one, making it seem as if the community itself isn't concerned about crime, and nothing could be further from the truth. But the real flaw in this argument is the simple fact that when a black person commits a crime against another black person, or a white person against another white person, and so forth, that person faces justice, something that happens less than 1% of the time when the perpetrator is a cop. It's not just that police brutality exists, it's also there's little to no accountability for it. And I don't think the police or anybody making this argument would be agreeable to applying the same standard of crime and punishment to those who protect and serve as we aggressively do to black and black crime.